Gentlemen, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever been with your partner, wanting to give her pleasure, but no matter what you tried, she just didn't get as aroused as you hoped? Maybe it felt like you were putting in real effort, but she wasn't warming up the way you expected. Or maybe you felt uncertain, even a little frustrated, unsure whether what you were doing was landing at all. I want you to hear this clearly. You are not alone. In fact, nearly every man I've sat across from in my practice has asked me the same question. Dr. Thomas, what kind of foreplay actually works every time? And after more than a decade working as a men's health physician, I can tell you with full confidence, there is a method that works for almost every woman. It doesn't just build arousal reliably, it makes her feel deeply connected, emotionally safe, and genuinely desired. And here's what I want you to understand right away. It is not complicated. It doesn't demand hours of effort or some elaborate performance. When you do it right, and I mean really do it right, it never fails. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to know. We'll cover the 4 biggest mistakes men make during foreplay and why those mistakes consistently backfire. Then I'll lay out the technique that never fails, what it is, how to execute it step by step, and why it works both biologically and emotionally. And finally, I'll show you how to personalize it for your specific partner so it always feels fresh, exciting, and genuinely unforgettable. Before we get into it, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps other men find this content who need it just as much as you do. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from today. I always enjoy seeing where the men in this community are tuning in from around the world. And subscribe so you never miss a future video on men's health and intimacy. All right, let's get into it. Here is the truth that most men never hear, and frankly that most people are too uncomfortable to say out loud. Foreplay is not about tricks. It's not about memorizing one slick move that magically flips a switch. The reason so many men struggle is simple. They've been taught the wrong model of how female arousal actually works. Women's arousal doesn't begin in one isolated place. It starts across the entire body, and it follows a natural biological sequence. If you try to jump straight to one target, whether that's her breasts, her genitals, or even her thoughts, you're cutting the process short. You're skipping the foundation that makes everything else possible. And here's the layer that most men miss entirely. For women, arousal is not purely physical. It is emotional. If she doesn't feel safe with you in that moment, if she doesn't feel genuinely cared for or truly desired, her body will not respond the way you want it to. That's not a flaw. That's physiology. And understanding it changes everything. That's exactly why the foreplay moves most men fall back on tend to fail. Let me break them down one by one, because knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. My name is Dr. Thomas. I'm a men's health physician, and for more than 12 years I've worked directly with men and couples navigating real intimacy challenges, performance anxiety, erectile dysfunction, low libido, relationships where physical connection has gone quiet for months or even years. I've seen it all, and what I've learned through that clinical experience is that real. Lasting solutions don't come from gimmicks, from pills, or from one-size-fits-all advice you find on a random corner of the internet. They come from understanding how the human body works, respecting the emotional architecture of intimacy, and building genuine connection through thoughtful technique. So when I tell you that one form of foreplay works nearly every time, I'm not speculating. I'm drawing from over a decade of clinical observation and real results. Now let's clear out the 4 mistakes that are most likely holding you back. Mistake number 1, jumping straight to oral sex. I know, a lot of men believe this is the gold standard of foreplay, the move that proves you're a generous, skilled partner. But here's the clinical reality. If she isn't already physiologically aroused, her genitals are not yet sensitive in the way you're assuming. Instead of experiencing pleasure, she may feel pressure, mild discomfort, or simply nothing meaningful at all. I use this analogy with my patients all the time. It's like trying to run a cold engine at full throttle before the oil has had a chance to warm up. The mechanics aren't ready. Oral sex can be a powerful and deeply pleasurable experience, but it is not the warm-up. It is the bridge you cross after arousal has already been established. Mistake number 2, relying on light, gentle touching. The intention here is solid. Men want to be romantic, tender, careful, but if the touch is too faint, it doesn't register as arousing. It registers as ticklish. which is the exact opposite of what you want. And if it swings the other direction and becomes grabby or rough without any buildup, it breaks the mood entirely. Arousal requires touch that feels alive, intentional, and responsive. It needs to engage her whole body in a way that feels deliberate and present, not like a man who is nervously brushing his hands across her skin hoping something works. Mistake number 3, treating massage as a foreplay strategy. Now, I'm not dismissing massage. It has genuine value. It reduces cortisol, loosens physical tension, and creates a relaxed environment. All of that is real. But massage by itself keeps her body in a recovery mode, a spa state, not a sexual one. The nervous system settles into calm rather than building toward arousal. You can absolutely weave elements of massage into your approach, and I'll show you how, but relying on it as your primary foreplay move is like warming the oven without ever putting anything in it. Mistake number 4, over-relying on mental stimulation. Playful teasing, dirty talk, suggestive conversation. These have their place, and done well, they can heighten anticipation. But here's the critical problem. They keep her in her head. And arousal, real, deep, physical arousal, is not a cognitive process. It is a full-body physiological awakening. If you spend too long playing mental games without grounding that energy in her physical body, she may enjoy the conversation, but she won't feel the fire you're trying to build. Do any of those mistakes sound familiar? If so, don't be hard on yourself. These are the patterns most men fall into because no one ever taught them the alternative. But now, let's talk about what actually works. The most powerful and reliable form of foreplay I have ever seen in clinical practice and personal testimony from my patients is what I call full body to body flow. Instead of targeting one zone or relying on one technique, you use your entire body, your chest, stomach, arms, hands, mouth, and face to move over her slowly, sensually, and with full intention. Picture it like a physical conversation between two bodies. Your whole frame gliding over hers, kissing her, holding her, caressing her, breathing her in. You are not poking at her. You are not running through a mental checklist. You are enveloping her, surrounding her in layered, continuous sensation. Let me explain why this works on a biological level. Because I think understanding the science makes you a better partner. The skin is the largest sensory organ in the human body. When you stimulate a broad surface area simultaneously, her neck, her hips, her thighs, her lower back, her stomach, you flood her central nervous system with overlapping sensation signals. That neurological flooding primes the genitals for arousal naturally. Without you having to force anything or rush anything, the body does what it's designed to do when it's given the right input in the right sequence. On the emotional side, full body-to-body flow communicates something that words often can't. It tells her, I want all of you. Not just one part, not just a destination. All of you. That message of total desire creates emotional safety. And emotional safety, gentlemen, is what dissolves her resistance and allows real desire to rise in its place. And practically speaking, it means you stop rushing, you stop performing, you start genuinely experiencing her, and she feels that difference immediately. Now let me walk you through the execution, step by step. Start with presence. Before you even make physical contact, ground yourself. Slow your breathing deliberately. Make eye contact and hold it. Let her feel that you are fully here, not distracted, not anxious, not already thinking about the next step. Women are exceptionally attuned to a man's mental state. Distraction kills the connection before it starts. Your presence is the first form of foreplay. Use multiple points of contact simultaneously. As you begin to move over her, don't limit yourself to just your hands. Let your chest press against her back or her stomach. Brush your forearm along the outside of her thigh while your mouth works along her collarbone. Kiss deeply while your hands settle on her hips. The more contact points you establish at once, the more enveloped she feels in your presence, in your body, in you. Vary your pace and your pressure. This is where most men become robotic, and it's where the technique either comes alive or goes flat. Sometimes glide slowly, almost like you're reading her body. Other times, increase pressure with intention, a firm grip on her hip, a deeper kiss, a more deliberate pull. This variation keeps her nervous system alert and anticipating, which is exactly where you want her. Target erogenous zones in sequence, not in isolation. The neck, the collarbone, the sides of the torso, the inner thighs, the lower stomach. These areas build arousal most effectively when you move through them in a flowing, connected rhythm. Think of it less like hitting targets on a map and more like tracing a continuous path. Each zone primes the next one. Blend your techniques so the experience feels seamless. Kissing transitions into licking, which becomes a light, playful bite. Your chest shifts into your hands into your lips back to her neck. It should feel like one continuous, unbroken movement, not a series of separate acts. That continuity is what makes the experience feel enveloping rather than mechanical. Now here is the piece that separates genuinely skilled partners from everyone else. You must read her responses in real time. If her breathing deepens, if she arches toward you, lean into exactly what you're doing. If she tenses slightly or her body pulls back, ease the pressure. Some nights she will want deep, intense, full-body contact. Other nights she will want something slower, softer, more emotionally connected. The technique itself stays consistent. The calibration changes based on her. And I want to say this clearly, because I've seen men learn a technique and then run it like a program on repeat. Do not let it become a script. Vary your positions. Try the flow while you're facing each other, while you're behind her, while you're standing. Change the rhythm from one encounter to the next. Keep it alive, because aliveness is the whole point. So here is your practical action plan for the next time you're with your partner. Forget the checklist entirely. Stop worrying about executing the right move. Instead, ask yourself one question. How can I envelop her body right now? Start slowly and build pressure gradually. Give her body the time it needs to awaken before you approach her most sensitive areas. Stay responsive throughout. Watch her breathing. Listen to the sounds she makes. Feel how her body shifts and moves, and adjust accordingly. Mix in variety across encounters, different speeds, different positions, different points of entry into the flow. Keep it alive. Keep it human. Never let it become mechanical. And if you want to support your own stamina and circulation so you can bring this kind of energy and sustained presence to your intimate life, I recommend a clinically formulated nitric oxide booster derived from organic watermelon extract. It supports healthy blood flow throughout the entire body, including to the genitals, and makes everything you bring to the table feel more powerful and more sustained. You'll find my recommended supplement linked in the pinned comment below. Now I want to speak to you directly, man to man, because this matters. Many men, particularly as they move through their 40s, 50s, and beyond, begin to feel a quiet anxiety about intimacy. They wonder whether they've lost something, whether they can still make their partner feel what she used to feel, whether the passion that once came naturally is simply gone. I am here to tell you, as a physician who has worked with men across every stage of life, that it is absolutely not too late. I have watched men in their 60s and 70s completely reignite the physical and emotional intimacy in their relationships using exactly this approach. Not because they found some secret youth or some pharmaceutical shortcut, but because they stopped relying on the wrong strategies and started bringing genuine presence, genuine intention, and genuine connection to their partner's body. That is what works. That is what has always worked. If you've been feeling like that closeness is fading, know this, with a few deliberate adjustments, you can bring it back. You can make her feel alive in your arms again. And you can feel that confidence and pride in yourself return, because it was never really gone. It just needed the right direction. So gentlemen, here is the takeaway. Stop falling back on tired, ineffective foreplay habits. Start building the full body-to-body flow into your intimate life. And remember this, it is never about perfection. It is about connection. When you bring genuine presence, touch with real intention, and keep variety and aliveness at the center of your approach, you will unlock a form of foreplay that does not fail. If you found value in this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more straightforward men's health guidance. Leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from today. I genuinely love seeing the reach of this community, men from every corner of the world, supporting one another and choosing to grow. Most importantly, don't give up on this part of your life. Age is not the end of passion. With small intentional changes, you can bring back the comfort, the freedom, and the deep connection that makes intimacy one of the most powerful parts of being a man.